Just make sure your microphones are on, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, you can hear me anyway. Let's pledge the flag to start with.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call.
Okay, Mr. Siebold?
Present.
Ms. King?
Present.
Ms. Gunchin?
Present.
Mr. Dawson is not available today. And Mr. Johnson?
Present.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Okay, ball, you want to start the ball?
Yeah, so we have the approval of the May 13th, 2025 meeting minutes to do next. Did everybody get a chance to go over them? Okay.
Motion to approve.
Okay, from Tom?
Second.
Laura, is that you? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion is passed to approve the May 13th, 2025 meeting minutes.
Anything under old business?
I did not have anything brought to my attention.
All right, so let's go to the first appeal. Amy, you can read it, please.
Okay. Okay, just for everybody in the audience, since we have a large crowd today, just when you come up and if it's your turn to speak, if you have to speak, please raise your right hand. The court reporter will swear you in for your court testimony. Make sure you state your name and your full address for the record. Okay, so our first appeal is Appeal 13319. This is 547 West 17th Street. Mr. Spearman, if you'd like to come up, you're more than welcome to get started. And this is concerning a property located at 524 West 17th Street. Parcel ID is 16-3026-237. It's located in an R2 residential zoning district. The appellant is requesting a dimensional variance for an addition. Per section 205.5 of the ordinance, the minimum rear yard setback is 20 feet. 4 feet is proposed. Okay, Mr. Spearman, it's all yours.
Good morning.
Okay, they'll need.
Yeah, name and address, please.
Stephen Spearman, 524 West 17th Street, B.
Thank you. Want
And-
to tell us what your plans are there?
Oh, you need to swear him in.
Oh.
Could the court reporter please swear Mr. Spearman in?
Yes, Mr. Spearman,
Yes.
do you swear or affirm that your testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
All yours.
It kind of feels good to have nothing but the truth. You know what I mean? Let me tell you a little something about myself, because a lot of times when you present yourself in front of a lot of people that don't know you, they tend to ask questions about you to people that may know you but don't know what you're about, you know. And I'm that kid that grew up single parent home, a grandmother at that, drug addicted mom, and didn't have a relationship with my father till I was 30. Grew up in the projects, but was a Catholic school kid that was honorable mention All-State in football, college, military background. So those are some of the positive things that I have. I have 8 years of military service, Army, 13 Bravo. Those are some of the things that a lot of people don't know about me. I started my program in 2004. Mr. Sean Scully literally purchased the building for me, and I paid him back monthly over a period of 10 years. Sean came to me and he asked me what did I want to do, because I was so passionate about coaching football, youth football. You know, I could have coached or trained at the collegiate level, or I know that I could have trained at the professional level, but I chose to start a program that was called You Look Like Me. So these were a lot of the at-risk youth that it was going through at the time what I've been through. And along the way, I've had some personal issues. Not a stranger to any danger. But with that being said, my life has been, in the last 5 years, a good one. And I have a list of people, just Division I athletes alone, full scholarship, averaging $300,000 per year, that I personally have trained since at least the grade of 7th grade. And the news and the newspaper have been for years trying to get me to do an interview about this list, because that's what made me famous in this town, not worldwide. But I just want to read to you the names because it kind of threw me back a little bit last night. This is the first time I ever wrote this. This is just the Division I full scholarship athletes that have came out of my gym, that I participated in their success. Mario Henry, Andre Henderson, Akeem Satterfield, Shaquan Pulliam, AJ Fenton, Matt Hess, Carter Starocki, James Conner, Juicy Scruggs, Jovan Johnson, Lavon Rowan, Daiwan Rowan, Deontay Flemings, Mashia Williams, Becky Zill, Ali Grab, Tori Spearman, Jerry Roberts, Terry Roberts, James, John, and Luke Trisilla, Aaron Horton, Khalil Horton, Amari Horton, Shelton Sablotly, Chris Oliver, Billy Lucas, Anthony Bowden, Mike McBride, Marcus Lukowitz, Amarion Tolver, Jaheim Basham, Steve Smith, Justin Wiley, DJ Barney, Dominic Cavato, Jordan Cavato, Cal Rogers, Justin Masur, Rashawn Thrower, Maurice Williams, Joe Mishler, Greg Garman, Anthony Zimzak, Khalil Harris, Delton Williams, Kimani Smith, Jacob Gramacki, Rocco Wellick, Nick Milano, Cheese Casto, Derek Selby, and Lamont Selby. I'm not saying that to brag, which people that know me know I don't do that. I don't even do advertisement. I'm saying that to say that my grandmother raised me she used to say this to me all the time. When you pass away, what will you be able to tell God when he asks you, what did you do to make this world better? And I can reel off those names. Those are successful young men and women that are in our community today making a difference. And when I went about this, I know the code enforcement guy made me feel like I was slow, or touched or something. But I honestly hired that Amish group of people, not knowing that they didn't go and get a permit. I didn't know that they didn't believe in that. Or I would have got one if that was the rules and regulations. With that being said, I met for the first time in person a client of mine's dad, Michael Grab, which I didn't realize who he was when he pretty much pulled up on me, because I hired him because they told me I needed an architect. And he said, "Steve, you don't remember me?" I said, "Mike Grab." He says, "Ali Grab's dad." I said, "Wow." He said, "Man, if it wasn't for you, my Ali wouldn't have went to college." And that meant a lot to me. So I get confused when I got to come down here and have so much being because of a mistake. I got to come down here and worry about making more room for over 100 at-risk youth that I don't get a dime for. None of these people, none of these parents can ever say that I asked them for anything if they were under the age of 18. And I think that's where people get it misconstrued. They think I'm over there making all kind of money. I wish I had help. I wish when you donate money to people to say, help people in Little Italy, I wish that they would come over to my business and give me a couple of dollars, because I'm going to do what's best for the children. I'm not putting it in my pocket. So in this 57 years of living, I would honestly say that it's time for me to retire. I don't want to be working at the age of 65. I don't want to do that. So it's time for me to retire, and I have passed the torch to about 4 or 5 of my understudies, and I don't want to fail them because they got the same mindset that I have. And if I'm doing something wrong, I'm the type of person you can just tell me. And if I am wrong, I'll tell you I'm wrong, because I'm a man's kind of man. But when I'm doing something right and I make a mistake along the way, I would hope that this board would have a heart to pretty much give me the opportunity to make it right. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there, yes, Steve, there might maybe be some questions here.
Oh, that's the hard part.
Thank you for what you do for our youth, but just a quick question. What is the addition actually going to be used for?
It's a multi-purpose room. Upstairs is way too small. I've been packing them in, and a lot of it comes from over the years of helping a lot of, like, when you get that one name, you know, that one name that makes it to the NFL, or that one name that makes it to the NBA, you know, not just black people, white, Hispanic, they look for that person that helped that child get to where he needs to be. And so we want to start some type of educational part of the program. So downstairs we remodeled, and we have what we call a room for, like, I'm big on clearinghouse. Like, a lot of people don't know what clearinghouse is, but clearinghouse is the only way that a lot of people that can't afford college, you can't get a scholarship unless you're clearinghouse approved. So I had fought for a program to at least educate young men and women that are going to the public schools, because most of the private schools and McDowell, they already have it all in place, you know. So I wanted to start, when I get these athletes and these colleges, which they do come, University of Syracuse, Levon Rowan is here to witness, Wisconsin came through, Pitt. They come to me before they go to these high schools. And they ask me, Steve, what you got? And I'll give names if they're worthy of it, but I'm not going to give you, I'm not going to do any favors. So we need more space to do footwork, wrestling drills, more space to, we got a girls dance team now. We got more space we need for just to be able to do more than 30 people at one time. So I can have 15 people upstairs doing a circuit with the weights, and 15 people downstairs in the multi-purpose area doing strength and conditioning as far as speed, agility, plyometric training. It's helping you to react without thinking. All of these things are in place. And again, I apologize for not knowing, but that's a lot of stuff that's being done. And pretty much to have somebody tell you to tear it down, you know. I mean, that's $42,000 of my money, like no one else. I received a settlement in a car accident, and I spent $42,000 on that extension that I put into
since you bought it?
out of my pocket.
And is that mostly this last edition and stuff?
Yes, that and the inside where we have like a study room where you can come.
That building, I don't know if it was built for a club, but the Rockapia,
Yes.
that was their club. And it was bar room downstairs
Yep.
and a ballroom upstairs.
I still have the original stuff.
That's,
Yeah.
I'm correct?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Any other questions for Mr. Spearman?
do.
Yeah, Laura?
So the reason you're in front of us today is in a R2 residential zoning district. The rear yard setback is required to be 20 feet. And right now with the addition, it's at 4 feet.
Right.
So if you could talk to us a little bit about the status of the addition. Sorry, we understand that you got a stop work order, that sort of thing. Is it 75% of the way done? Is it 90%? Is it done completely?
It just needs the walls. To my knowledge, well, I looked at it yesterday, there's an alley, so that would be about another 10 feet. So there's an alley that goes all the way through. That's just bushes. So I would say, last year I was offered to purchase the empty lot that's behind it. So it's not a house, it's not anything behind it, it's an empty lot. And so I was offered to purchase it, and I told them that I needed a few more months to come up with the money, which was $5,000. Well, when I was going through all of this, I called and asked how much do they want for it still, and they told me $7,000. Then once I asked for a postponement here, I called and I came up with the money to purchase it. They said no, it's no longer for sale. So I don't know, if this is some personal thing or whatever, and I'm not pointing the fingers, but all I'm trying to do is what I feel is the best for, and I'm the best man to tell you when it comes to these youth. I know what's best for them, and we can sit here all day and talk about people that receive money for our youth and never do anything for them, versus me doing everything for them and never receiving anything. So when I did get some money, I didn't go and blow it. I went and made the facility better. I'm big on legacy. I got to have something to leave behind, And so, yeah, it's an empty lot. It's an alley, and I don't know if I'm speaking out wrong, but it doesn't seem like it's to me, not to you, it's not a big deal.
Thank you.
Amy, if you were to acclimate us to the drawing.
This is the garage addition, 1740 on the square footage, and the 4 foot he's speaking of is right here with the 10-foot alley. Mr. Spearman, I apologize, I don't have my aerial imagery up, but the lot you were speaking of is back here, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so there is a vacant lot back there that he's talking about that was wanting to be purchased.
I thought you were talking.
I'm sorry, no.
Yeah.
With any of that, I believe it would take an alley vacation to connect the properties together, and he'd have his rear setback if that could be done. But that's a whole nother process at this point. And if you could acquire the property.
Yeah.
So I have a few ifs for you, but that would be the property he's talking about is behind.
Well, the
This alley.
parking lot, which I thought I've owned that building for 24 years. And the parking lot, I thought for the entire 24 years that I was actually paying the taxes and that I owned it. I actually paved it and everything. And then there's turf in the back.
Yeah.
And so I purchased that through the city once you guys brought it to my attention, which was a blessing, and got that squared away. But then when I went to purchase the back, obviously funding was an issue, and I had already paid the people to finish, like they're just waiting on me to call to finish whatever they have to finish, and then I know I got to do a couple extra other things that from what it says on the architectural layout, you know what I mean?
So he purchased the lot to the west on repository sale. He has combined it together with a combination deed. It's one piece of property. Everything else works right now, except for that 4 feet.
I think I just want to say on the record, as a board, we're bound by certain criteria, right? The zoning ordinance that is local and statewide has very specific criteria, the only things that we're able to deliberate are those criteria. Unfortunately, we don't get to weigh in whether or not we think this is a good idea, right? And I think that sometimes is in conflict with what's in the best interest of the community. It's a struggle for us oftentimes because personally we may feel one way about the opportunity that's before us. We're still bound by those specific criteria. So I just wanted to make sure I put that on the record.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Yep.
Amy? Yes. If that were detached, would they still have the same setback?
No, detached would be, thanks, Tom. Always are 3 foot from the side and rear yard on a detached structure. 3 or 5 foot for building code usually.
And
But they
then,
would be limited in size, right?
Yeah, 720 square feet on a detached
That's the same
accessory,
in
correct.
R2?
Yeah, so we're going to have trouble with sizing on that one. We would still be in a dimensional appeal of some sort. I was trying to get you that back lot angle, but good success.
Thank you.
Amy, reiterate that for me again.
Detached accessory structures can't go over 720 square feet max. So if we consider this a detached structure somehow, some way he reconstructed that, he'd still be in a dimensional appeal because of size. And because of being he's still going to be within 4 feet. Zoning would be fine. Building code usually needs some sort of fire-rated wall.
Yeah,
Any other
they
questions?
put the fire-rated wall in there before we can even do it. It shut me down. So that
Yeah,
was-
Scott should have talked to you about
Yeah.
that. Yep.
Anybody else to speak on behalf of the variance? One at a time, you come up, give us your name, address, please.
If you guys could make sure you spell it so the court reporter has it, because I don't have all of you listed today.
You ready?
You know what, anybody that's going to speak, why don't we swear them in all at one time? Anybody that's going to speak, raise your hand, stand up.
Okay. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, my name is Lavon Rowan. I grew up here, born and raised. Went to Murray Sears. I was state champion, 100 and 200 meter dash, back-to-back years. I was All-State 3 years in a row, All-American. I did a lot of my training through Steve. My brothers trained there, and he taught me a lot. You know what I'm saying? I coached with him when I came back, and to this day, I still can go to the gym. I have sons now. My son is at Penn State, Maine. He's on the dean's list. He's a senior. He's going to be a cosmetic dentist. I have a daughter now that's playing track and basketball at Murray Sears, and I have another son that's at Murray Sears. They all train there. He never charged me when I didn't have, hardship being able to afford to go work out. He was there. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a good spot for young kids to go, because a lot of times the parents don't have money. You know what I'm saying? And he makes them feel welcome. He doesn't. You know what I'm saying? If you got something, you hungry or anything that you need when you go there, it's available for you. You know what I mean? He picks kids up, take them to track practice, football practice. He gives a lot of his time. And that was a lot for me. When I got picked up by the Eagles in 2006, I was 12 pounds over what they wanted me to weigh. So they was trying to charge me like $5,000 a pound, and I only had 12 days to lose it. He spent 2 weeks out of his own time. He wrote me a diet, and we worked hard every day. And I got the weight off. So, I mean, it's... Yeah, but they let me. Actually, when I got back, I got on the scale. I had a sandwich. I was a little less than a pound, and they let me slide. So I mean, it's the gym is a great thing to have for the city's kids to have somewhere to vent and just compete without having to pay. Some kids can't afford it. You know what I'm saying? So with him being there, and I do think they need to expand, because it's a lot more kids that's trying to do positive things, and with that being there in that area. It gives even the kids on the east side coming across there, you know what I'm saying, to train and learn. Then they know all of us in there, we got pictures of all the people that had success, and that motivates the kids, you know what I'm saying? I'm code enforcement now upstairs, so I'm doing some positive things, and I give back a lot of my time, too. I go to the gym, and coach with him actually last year, my son's middle school. He was the head coach, and I was helping him out with that. So he's always giving his time, and I think it's a good thing if you guys approve it. I'm going to still be volunteering there, and I think it's a great thing. Please consider it for him.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Deontay Flemings, 614 East 11th Street.
I'm sorry, could you spell your last name for us?
My last name is Flemings.
F-L-E-M-I-N-G-S.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'm also known as Ducky. Everybody know me here as Ducky. I've been going to this gym. I'm 35. I've been going to this gym since I was 15. I got a 15-year-old son. You know what I'm saying? Who I trust him with. You know what I'm saying? He taught me a lot of things. Like growing up, really had a father in and out of my life. He came and stepped into my life. So Coop, they call him Levon. He came and stepped in. So I was a younger brother to them. Just growing up, man, and like I said, it make me sad because this gym been there for a long time, like a long time. This gym keeping kids out of trouble. Some of these kids have financial problems. You can just see it in their eyes that they want it. A lot of kids want it, man. So one day, probably like 2-3 weeks ago, I went up to Erie High just to train. Like I said, I'm also around the city also, just to train these kids. And they kicked us off the field. They kicked us off the field at Erie High just for training the kids. You know what I had to do? I had to drive all the way to Mill Creek, where it's a community field where they don't care about who goes there. And I can just come down the street and go train in the back of the turf. But I mean, like I said, we don't want no problems going on, so I ignored it just to go out there. So like I said, I don't really got too much to say about it. Like I said, it's gonna be hard for these kids around here. He don't charge a dime. He don't charge a dime. He take care of everybody. He a father figure to everybody. If he got problems with anybody out there, he don't care about the kids. They come in him for free. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I understand I'm probably talking on the like anger right now, but it just hurt me bad because like he don't charge a dime for nobody, man. And it's gonna be hard. It's really gonna be hard. You can't go nowhere else to get trained for free. Kids charging, trainers charging $60 to $100 a train. So, you know, I'm just, like I said, that's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Andre Horton, Andre Horton. And before I make my comment, it's 318 Reed Street, Erie, PA.
Thank you.
And before I make my comments, I'd like to preface my remarks by apologizing to Mr. Spearman on behalf of Erie County. It's probably an apology that's long overdue. And it hurts me to sit here and listen to you try to talk about your attempts to purchase the lot. And I know that Erie County DEIC had awarded you money and unfairly, in my opinion, retracted that grant. Didn't ask any questions, didn't know what you were doing. I know everyone has a past, I certainly do. You're the GOAT, and you're an example. So again, I'm Andre Horton. My mother sat on the zoning board for a lot of years. I know some of you. And usually I've gotten a little busy over the past few years, so I don't really have the opportunity to come down and speak for people, my constituents or people in the community. I get asked all the time. There are some people who ask you that no matter what you're doing, you find a way to come down and speak on their behalf. And I'm coming because of that. I know the work that Steve does. I have personal relationships with Steve. A few years ago, my house caught on fire. Tried to charge me with arson. It was BS, really. Insurance companies, I hate them, but they're necessary. But my house burned down. I had a couple children. I was a single parent at the time, and I wasn't as stable as I am now. Mr. Spearman opened up his house to me and my children. I don't think nobody here knows that. We stayed at his house for maybe 5 or 6 months. And so I understand the statute and Ms. Gunchin's comments on what's before us and what you can which you can look over. But I want to tell you that in a city with less than 3% black home ownership, space matters. I want to tell you in a city that's getting darker and darker, blacker and browner, while they're talking about changing the city form of government, blacks, brown, Latinos make up 1/3 of the city proper, and we're undercounted. And the numbers growing, that don't even count the 6,000, 7,000 Muslims that have moved into our neighborhood. And so when you look at the people who live here and the families that have lived here, space matters. And it's very disheartening, because I think it's kind of antiquated myself. It's very disheartening in a community where there's a lot of things to do. There's not a lot of options for children or young people. And they're talking about young people right now. They're talking about athletes. That's fine. They're future. They're present. Well, I'll tell you, I see senior citizens over there. I'm one of them. I go over there because I had diabetes. I said, Steve, I got to get my numbers down. You charge me anything. I'm sure I can pay. I want to pay for help for a kid, offset something. But my numbers are going in the right direction. And I see other seniors over there. It's a shame that that building doesn't have the funding. As a county, we fund St. Paul's. We fund their medical clinic. We fund wherever we can do. We just want to help. We're not the piggy bank for every municipality in the county. But when we see a good thing, we try to go out, and we don't. Here lately, these last 5 or 6 years, because most people, when they say, well, you can't do something, 95% of the people will say, how come? Do you agree? But there's another 5% that say, how can we? And so I'm here to ask, how can we? Because he's helped thousands of kids, my kids. I see them black, white, young, poor, old. I see them. I see them going to school. I see them come back. I see them come back on the holidays and work. I see them sweeping the gym, cleaning the gym. I remember I gave him the history of the Rocket Pie Club, Jeffrey, because he had that building. He had occupied it for a decade. I told him, do you know the history of this building? It's a great building. This is Little Italy. This was the heart of Little Italy. They all come from Rocket Pie. The Di Nicolas, the Scatellas. I don't want to start naming names because I'll miss somebody. But they know the importance of that building and what it meant to that community. He's resurrected that block. There's not a lot going on over there. Y'all rode over there? Have you rode over there, 17th Street? Not a lot going on. Is there a lot going on over there? No, it's run-down houses like the rest of the city. It's houses toppling in on themselves like the rest of the city. And so it's a bright light. It's a beacon on the hill. From 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock at night, you can find somebody in there working out their goals. And I'm asking you, because I won't go off into any of the particulars or whatever. I know the zoning issues. I'm a 33-year union laborer. The variances or whatever. I don't know how big the lot is. Can you even build anything on the lot? There are lots out here in the county that we're giving off through the land banks, $250 a pop. And they're just small. You can't build anything on them. You all know that. So I don't know if that lot falls in that criteria or not. But I came here primarily to say and to ask that any consideration that you could give Mr. Spearman, and by proxy, any consideration that you could give our children, I'm asking you to give that consideration. And it can't just be all the time. We can't. Sometimes it has to be, or should be. I don't think you can call yourself a thriving, progressive, forward-moving city without having sometimes asked, how can we? I think other than that, we stay stuck where we are, and I hate to see that building. It's a beautiful facility. Looks way better than it did when he first looked in there. And that $42,000, Mr. Johnson, that you asked about, that's just on the addition. That ain't talking about the work he's done on that building. That kid's probably got $75,000 in that building. And to come and say, well, you didn't follow the rule, you didn't get the permit, it doesn't meet the variance, tear it down or you can't do this. It just doesn't seem right. And so I'm asking you.
Thank you, Andrew.
How can we?
Thank you.
How can we? How can we, Jeffrey? How can we, Laura? How can we, Selena? How can we, gentlemen? Because our kids need that. We don't have a lot of places to go. The center's closed at 5. Crime is not going down. It's not going anywhere. How can we? Thank you.
Kathleen Schaff, Erie, East 43rd Street. So I know I'm not going to talk about the wonderful things he does, which I drove somebody last summer or the summer before. I happened to be on East 17th Street for a community garden event, and it was a very hot day, and 2 people walking down the street were very hot, and I asked them if they needed a ride, and they said they were at a gym, and I drove them across to the east side of town, and I'm assuming they were at that gym, so I admire everything that Mr. Spearman is doing. I'm here actually to talk about, I think it would work if you use the alleyway. So 42 of my years I have lived by an alley, 2 different alleys. For 4 years I lived on 5th and Ash, and we had an alleyway that went from 5th Street to 4th Street. And as far as I know, in all these years of being by alleys, is that it's very communal property. Anything goes. People walk up and down the alleys. Kids play in the alleys. Sometimes a car goes by in the alleys. Now on 43rd Street, I don't know if it's called an official alley, but it is not my property. It's not my next door neighbor's property. It is an easement of public Penelec or something, and it has been used through the years from 1987 when I was there. Not so much now because of the neighborhood configuration, but it's always been an access of adults and children going from 44th Street to 43rd Street or above, because I have a bus stop at my house, and the kids, a lot of the local buses, they just drop them off at my bus stop area, and then they disperse to wherever they want to go. So I always consider an alleyway as public space. And my neighbor and I do the mowing of the property there, because otherwise it would just be completely overgrown from what it is now. And then there would be raccoons and rats and so on, which every once in a while raccoons go down there. So it says that there's a 4 feet that is proposed, and then there's so much setback. Well, if you consider adding kindly that alleyway as space, and then, okay, the next property, it may belong to someone, but it's nothing there. And therefore, that gives him the space allowed. And I do know of personal people who sometimes have done things because they don't know the laws and they've gotten too close to things, but they've already built it completely and then have not been asked to tear down because it's already completely built. And just to what's that saying? But anyways, to give grace and pardon. And that's what I'm asking you today to do, is give grace and pardon, but include that alleyway as a nice space, because it just belongs to the people anyway. I'm assuming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On that note, Kathy, I am going to bring to your attention something that was just pointed out to me. The alleyway does count half of it towards his depth. So we can add another 5 feet onto the existing 4, making his rear setback 9. That falls under 205.4, and that's what I was just confirming with our solicitor. Okay. Thank you.
Were you sworn
No,
in?
that's what I wanted to say. I was at a funeral, so I didn't know if I.
Where we need a swear-in?
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Your name and address.
Jerry Roberts, 315 East 29th Street. I'm here on behalf to speak about the Spearman Youth Center and the addition to the facility. We're hoping that you guys graciously give him permission to finish it because he's done so much for our youth. There are hundreds of kids that come through there and they get training for free, and this is top-notch training. Not only are they getting the training for their sport and health, this is keeping our kids off the street. And as a matter of fact, he's trained my children along with others. And just to brag, some bragging points, he's trained every Division I athlete, every Division II athlete in this city. With
He read them to us individually.
He read them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So my work is a little lighter. Okay, so anyway, since you all are aware of that, I'm just asking for your grace that you give him the permission to finish out what he's done. And I'm not just saying just on the building, but his mission. And his mission is to help save these kids' lives, keep them off the streets. And with the expansion of that building, I believe we could do a great thing in the community through Mr. Spearman and his goal. And that is to keep these kids off the street, not to make the same mistakes that we made when we were younger.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else to speak on behalf of the variance? You were sworn in, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Name and address?
Michael Noble, 423 Ash Street. I'm here to just compound what everybody said, which was I've watched him since I was young in high school. I went to his gym, and then all my kids have went to his gym. And some of them play football, but most of my kids are in combat sports, boxing and wrestling. I don't really, except for Mrs. King, I've never seen you guys, so I don't know if you've ever been to the gym or seen the kids that come down there. But eventually everything has to be like, what are we putting back? And to start taking stuff out when there's nothing to replace it, or anything that's even kind of close to it is in a whole nother tax bracket, just seems unfair to the city. On top of everything, in spite of what's going on outside and what's been going on in the city, it has been certain people who have looked for ways to out that, to look for ways that we could do a little bit better. There's another way. And I just feel like if there's a way to do something positive or to keep something alive like that, we should all do our part. Us coming down here speaking, wherever we was coming from, you guys taking the time to listen to it, we need to work together to have stuff like this and add on. That's all I got to say.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else to speak in favor of the variance? Anybody else to speak in favor of the variance? Last call. Anybody here to speak opposed the variance? Is there anybody who wants to speak to oppose the variance? Anybody who wants to speak to oppose the variance? So be it. Any other questions?
Mr. Spearman, are you open to shaving 6 feet off of that building? Because you have the clearance at that point, correct?
Yeah, the clearance would be there. Well, the building is constructed.
Yeah.
So shaving 6 feet off of a building, what does that do to the top half and the trusses? I don't know. I don't know the answers to those
I
things.
think the trusses go this way and he'd have to come this way.
But my question would be, does it meet building code at that point? So those are a couple questions he'll have to deal
Sure.
with.
That's a whole nother discussion.
Right.
But basically, back of napkin math, you'd lose 216 square feet. So you could do 1524
But then you'd be, because you can add the alley, half the alley back, and I think I'm mathing that correctly on the 20 feet, right?
11 feet, right? Well,
Well, he's at 11.
so he has 4 now. If
Oh,
he
he'd still be
gains
off
another
3.
5.
He'd still be off 3.
Correct.
But I don't know. I could make the argument for a 3-foot variance. I just can't make the argument for a,
Yeah, the rear new setback, not on your documents, is 9 feet.
So
according
what
to
you're
the-
asking, Tom, is if he can shave off,
basically, yeah, if you could shave off 6 feet, you'd lose a little bit of square footage, but you'd have most of your building there. And then it would require us to be amenable to a 3-foot variance, which is much more palatable for what we can do.
is that a possibility, Mr. Spearman?
What it is it'll tear up the turf. The turf was professionally put in there. The turf actually was donated from the Cleveland Browns, and I just paid the people to lay it. But how the flooring is, it's the turf. Turf goes all the way over into the fence. So they put the wood into the ground through the turf, so that would put 7 more holes in the turf if we move it in. And also, I don't know how I'm gonna come up with the money to do, I'm kind of tight with the money right now to even finish it. If you guys say yes, if you say no, then.
I think what Mr. Seabold is offering is that on behalf of all of us, I guess, we want the thing to go through. We have conditions, laws that govern what we give away, what we say is yes and no.
Okay.
He's giving you a way out.
Yeah.
To get you there.
I understand
To get you
that,
across the line of scrimmage, So, pardon me? Yeah, all right. We're going to take a 5-minute break.
Okay.
All right?
So we'll recess for a few minutes. Everybody can take a break. There are restrooms out in the lobby area if you need them. Men's is on the left, women's is on the right.
Amy, right?
Yes. Thank you.
the meeting. Mr. Seabold, you have something you'd like to say.
Okay, so after a lot of discussion back there, we're trying to find ways to make this work for you, but still work with the limits of the zoning law, how things are written, how we have to do things. So the best we can do is give you the compromise position of losing 6 feet of the building to make up the setback so that you're at 15 feet. We can give you a variance for the other 5 feet. That's still going to be, with the building, you're still going to have to follow all the building codes. That's completely separate from what we do. We can only give you the zoning variance to actually build it. They're going to have to be able to come in and do all of their stuff to make it fit the building code itself. So that's our thinking on it. That's pretty much the way we've gone, and I think we're generally unanimous on it. So that's what we can do. And that's the motion I would be willing to make, is to give you a variance for the 5-foot setback, which would require you to remove 6 feet of the building.
Hello? Okay, yeah, my bad. So, you know, I understand what you're saying. I appreciate anything, but it's going to be a hardship. It'd be hard to, I've complied.
Get that. So for us, hardship means something else, and there's some hardships that are self-inflicted, and this one's kind of self-inflicted, right?
Right.
And my history going back, I used to be it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission kind of guy. It never is.
Yeah.
It always works out badly. So in moving forward, it's a lesson that we all have to learn at some point. And then I think too, it's gonna hurt. There's no way around it in our mind. If we can give variances to a certain extent, but if we start extending well beyond what we're allowed to do, it just makes problems further on down the line. A lot of the issues that the speakers brought up, they're valid. I wish this weren't the code. I wish we could let you do whatever you wanted to do down there, right up to the 6 inches of the property line. But that's not how the code is. And until the code gets changed, that's what we have to adhere to. So that's where we're at. That's what we're willing to do. It sounds like there's some other options for you. If you could resolve taking ownership of the back lot somehow, getting the alley gone somehow, doing some different things that way.
I mean, getting the alley gone.
The other option is relocating the building to your parking lot area, but that's even more expensive,
Yeah, that's
right?
good. That's
And the alternative would be, do you want us to table this, not make a decision, and give you some more time?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what you'd like?
Because it's.
Yeah, I understand.
I can't, man.
All right, then we're going to table our decision.
Just to comment on that, there's not much that would change our mind from that if you came back a month from now with another argument, if the pieces are the same.
It gives you time to absorb and to figure out, hey, what am I going to do?
Okay.
It's up to you.
It also gives you time to have the conversations about building code, because that's a very big piece of your path forward, right? If we were to say, yes, we'll grant you the variance today, you still have a hurdle for building code. So what Tom was articulating is offering a compromise there of, we're willing to work with you as we want this to happen. You have a very large hurdle with building code. So think about those two things together. If you want to table this for 30 days, you want to table it for 60 days, we would ask that you keep in touch with Amy so that she can, under old business, give us an update next month as to where you are.
Okay.
So that then it's in concert. It's not, well, zoning said this and building code said this. We're working together to help you solve the issue.
Okay. Well, since I have a few people here, I want to say something to them. Like, I need some money. It was nice to hear all those nice things. And
that's why I said if we tabled it, it buys you time.
Yeah, because then
we can grant you a variance with a contingency on it.
Right.
You got to get BIE approval.
Right. No, I don't want to mess with them. But We're gonna do the.
You want
first
some time?
reading. Yeah, some time, because I
You want us to table this for
yeah,
now?
for another 30 days.
So be it. We're gonna table it.
We do have an August meeting already on our agenda, so I'll chat with you. Like I said, we'll talk after the meeting today, just make sure you understand
All right.
everything.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Arthur?
Amy, we have to make a motion to
Oh.
table.
Okay, go ahead.
Our solicitor's gonna,
No, Selena is.
Okay.
So I'm going to make the motion to table this until further notice.
Okay, motion to table,
Second?
seconded by Laura.
That's all you need.
All in favor?
aye.
I only heard one. I heard Jeff. Is that all of you? Okay, thank you.
Motion carried.
Sorry, I wasn't
So
looking.
we're
Thank
tabled
you.
for now, Mr. Spearman.
All right, thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Spearman.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everybody, for coming and speaking today.
They're not coming back. They're not coming back. I asked for some money.
It sounds like you need a benefit right now.
Okey doke. Next appeal is,
Okay. Oop. Okay, we have appeal number 13320, Greg Gaddy, if you're not too afraid to come up now after that. Let me just get you set here, Greg, and I'll get you started here in just a minute.
you wanna read that appeal, Amy?
Do, yep, give me 1 second, Jeff.
Okay.
Okay, we have appeal number 13320 by Greg Gaddy concerning a property located at 2105 South Manor Drive, bearing an index of 16-3137-100. This is located in an R1 zoning district. The appellant is requesting a dimensional variance for a proposed detached garage. Per section 205 of the maximum size for the detached accessory structure, it is 720 square feet and 15 foot high. 1440 is the square footage and 16 foot high is what's proposed. And Greg, I'll turn it over to you. The court reporter will swear you in.
Do you swear or affirm that you'll tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, your name and address.
Gregory Gaddy, 2105 South Manor Drive, Erie, PA, 16505.
Okay. You wanna tell us what you're gonna do? Or you wanna
Yes.
do?
Good afternoon. Real quick background of me, I am an automotive enthusiast. I work in the automotive industry at Dave Holman. I'm an engineer by trade. I've been in the automotive industry for over 30 plus years. All kinds of certificates. Long story short, I have a massive car collection that I have now ran out of room. I am looking to build a larger facility, something that's more safe, because of my antique vehicles are worth quite a bit of money. I wrote down a bunch of things. I have a ton of pictures, and whenever you guys can, there's a lot of them. I'm sorry, I apologize, but just to get my point across. So my lot size is a little bit of a hardship for me. I have a neighbor beside me. He's 72, great guy, loves me. He couldn't be here today, he's on vacation. And my opposite side, and I have a big wall behind me, so there's nothing but 12th Street wall. So let's start from the top here, I guess. I already told you I need a lot of, I'm nervous, sorry. So due to the lack of size of my lack of vehicles, I'm a hobbyist and I need storage. My antique cars, it needs a lot of space. They're hand built. I'm nationally recognized by Rat Rod Association. I've been in videos. I've just had a TV spot last weekend for my vehicles. I have nationally known some of the pictures that you see there have, there's back ones of nervous as shit. Or magazine coverage. And my current garage not only lacks space for valuables, the cement's cracked, there's a lot of water damage. It seeps into walls and the floors. The roof leaks. Most of them photos that you see there, you'll see I circled areas that have holes in the roof, holes in the wall, in the sides. The critters have eaten them. The couple photos in there is of my garage door, how the cables and stuff are fraying on it. I'm worried about security because these are they're not the highest end cars, but they are custom built, handmade by me, of course. And I wouldn't want any vandalism or burglary. The one window's completely broke out, and there's a lot of water damage, a lot of I also have a 18-foot trailer that I use to tow these cars to national shows. That's where I was at last weekend. I had just won an award and I'm on the Motor Trend and Low Car Show. Long story short, I have a side-by-side also that shows in those pictures. It's brand new, 2023, not brand new, but low hours. Paid $28,000 for it, and it's sitting outside on top of the trailer, which my trailer itself is outside because of that. And actually, on the way home Sunday, I blew a trailer tire. They're dry rotted because I have no specific UV rays. I got to have some type of storage where I can have not dry rot, sun is on tires. Let's see. I spent quite a lot of time and 2 years in labor and building these things. I've been published 7 times for them. I only gave you guys 2 photos of magazines. I have more in my phone, and I have the Motor Trend slot and videos of being on that if you guys needed to see that stuff, of how valuable. There's also photos of the roof leaking down and all the debris all over the top of my cars. And the hardship is, the property dimensions, the size of basic for mechanical. I got to have things for store other than my cars in there. I got to have my lawnmower, things of maintenance, property maintenance. I like to keep my stuff very clean. And it's so problematic because it's due to the confined spaces. They're packed. I have things hanging on a wall because I have no space for them. I have 0.8 of an acre around that, the shallow lot size. The back wall, there's photos of that also in the property. Let's see. Granting that there's a wall there, there's really no, not an inhibit of any visual, physical, or otherwise obstruction to anyone or reaction. I'm not using it to work out of. I'm using it just solely for storage. So I have a whole nother area out in Wattsburg where I'm able to construct or build my vehicles out there. And I'm too old for this stuff anymore. I'm just going to show them. And I believe that's pretty much the gist of it all. But I'm pretty well known in the automotive industry of what I can do.
Amy, I have a question. Yes. I see that accessory dwelling units are allowable in R1 or just in R2?
They're allowable accessory dwelling. I'm sorry,
ADU?
ADU?
Yes.
So ADU would be more of,
Living unit. I
Living,
was wondering if
correct.
he split it up into 2 garages, if he met within the limits of however many percentage of coverage of the lot size.
his lot coverage is fine, he's right about at max, we talked about that. So even with the same size and 2 buildings, it would be, it would be applicable. Could have 2 garages at 720 square foot and be compliant.
Because otherwise, we're going to be hard pressed to say yes to the request. I mean, demonstrating the hardship, right? Oftentimes we get folks in here that have a lot size that's very narrow on one end, or it goes crooked or something like that. You have a pretty standard lot for the city of Erie.
Okay. Would that be what size would I be able to allow?
720 is
second
your max
garage?
on both, so 24 by 30 usually fits. Yeah, so that would get you, that's 2 garages you have in one.
The way my driveway and things are, it's a little hard if I had a garage off on the side of where the other one is, it's hard for me I can't jockey around with my trailer.
And we
whatnot.
did talk about considering it attached and moving it closer to the building.
Yeah, it would-
So it could be an attached structure because it doesn't physically have to be attached to the property, it has to be under 6 feet. So if it was 5 feet away from the house, we would consider this attached and we wouldn't be here. And that's happened a lot in the past. Greg had, and his contractor, when I talked to them about that option, there is some door issue with where it swings, the way the walkway is to the back exit. He would have a hard time getting through there. I'm not sure if there's anything else that could be considered, maybe with the 2 garages, if that's the possibility.
Right now with my trailer, and if I need to pull things out, I need to go through my neighbor's driveway out, and he's gracious enough to say, hey, you can use my driveway.
So he's letting you use this.
He's letting me use it.
This
If I had,
side, I see it.
yeah, if I'm able to have one big sole garage where I have 2 doors in it, I can just drive the trailer right straight out and not have to worry about it. Just more of convenience wise and not having to, upset with.
So having been here now today and had the benefit of the last conversation and the benefit of this conversation, I think I can speak on behalf of the board. We'd be willing to offer you a similar option of some time to talk with your contractor, knowing now what the position is of the board relative to your existing request on the table. We'd be willing to table it for you today, to give you time to have those conversations with the staff here, with your contractor, to find a way to make this work other than what has been presented, if that's something you desire.
Anything's better than nothing.
Your agreement?
I
I
agree.
think too, you don't need us if you do 2 garages.
Oh, really?
There's
Yeah,
no
you won't.
variance there.
Yep.
You'll
You
just
also-
be approved.
That's
Yeah.
just okay.
Oh, okay.
You also don't need us, what I'm hearing from Amy is if it's an attached garage.
Correct. This is the only time, because you went over, we're dimensional, right, not use, that it's just oversized. But anything that comes down into code, that's a permit, okay?
All right.
But I can definitely
Okay.
show you a couple things on that.
All right.
You want to make a motion?
So I'd have to be 720 then total.
You need 2 garages, is what they're saying.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Not in total each. So you'd have 2 garages, 720 square foot
Right.
each. So
Right.
you'd be at basically the size you're looking for, but
You're getting your 4-car garage in
Just
2
got
spots.
a wall
separate.
down the middle. I get
Right.
it.
And those, 5 foot away from each other, they can still be relatively close. I'm sorry. Yes, they're detached. 5 foot building code the firewall will work for that. You want to talk to Scott about that. A little more direct, but they can still be relatively close, and you just have to meet the detached setbacks, which is 3 foot or 5 foot for building code.
So what we can do today is entertain a motion to put this on the table for you. You continue the conversation with the staff here and your contractor, and then staff can let us know whether you are going to come back in front of the board for something that requires a variance, or if you have figured out a way that you don't need a variance.
Okay.
You're okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
All right.
yes.
So I'll make a motion to put this appeal 13320 on the table.
second.
Thank you, Laura. Do I have a second?
Second?
Oh, sorry, Tom, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for everyone. Okay, Greg, we'll be in touch and chat more.
All right.
Probably not today because I'm a little tied up, but tomorrow I'm available for you.
All right.
Okay, and we'll rework that.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day, guys. Okay, moving along, appeal number 13321 by Frank Gresh. Frank, you can come up if you'd like. This is concerning a property located at 2226 June Street. Parcel index is 18-5131-400. It's located in an R1A traditional residential zoning district. The appellant is requesting a dimensional variance for a proposed detached garage. Per section 205, maximum size for a detached accessory structure is 720 square feet. 1,200 is proposed. Per section 205.9, maximum height is 15 foot, 16 foot is also proposed. Very similar.
Amy, I think just a point of correction, if you look at the application, I think that it's a 20-foot on the height.
So Frank and I have talked about that because he made a little bit of an adjustment he's going to discuss with you during the appeal. Thank you, though.
I guess for myself.
Yep, we're going to swear you in first, Frank. Thanks.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, folks, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Frank Gresh. I live at 2226 June Street, Erie. I bought the property about 3 years ago. I am semi-retired now. We moved into Erie. I used to live in Fairview Township, bigger house, more property there too. And my son lives on the east side of town. He lives up on Gore Road. Wife wanted to be closer to her grandchildren, so here we go. So I bought this house. It went on the market. It needs a lot of work to it too, so I'm still plugging away at that. I am a retired carpenter. I still do some side jobs and so forth there. And we've done a couple of subdivisions through Erie County, Fairview, and so forth there. But I did purchase property about 3 years ago. It came to house and garage on one piece of lot, and it came with the second vacant lot. So I've always wanted to put up a little bigger garage. The garage is on there now. The stone matches the house, the roof line matches the house. Problem I have is Linwood, when they repaved a couple years ago, I get water coming in my garage. And I have photographs. I don't know if Amy still has them. I can show them. I actually do still have them in that case. And back in 1955, 56, when they built garages, they didn't build them very high, you know. Small doors, small areas, lower to the ground. To put my vehicles in there is pretty much impossible. We own three vehicles. I got a Silverado pickup, I got a Tahoe, and the wife has a Sonata. And with the vacant lot next door, it was very attractive, so I did talk to Amy a year and a half ago, seeing how I can put a garage up on a vacant lot, and she informed me upon what to do. I had combined the lots together, so it's one partial. So back in February, I hired Laird Surveyors to put them both together, and which gave me 125 by 120 now. It's a circular driveway, comes off Linwood and onto June Street. So I gave up a building lot to put a garage on. And zoning and the city has, I can put up a 24 by 30 garage. 24 is not very deep. I built a lot of homes in my time, and you put a 24 by 24 garage up, and you see the people later and says, Frank, my garage is too small. I pull both cars in, the garbage cans are there, and it's hard to open up both doors. So with the 24 by 30, I want to go 30 by 40. Instead of 24, go 30. Instead of 30, go 40. I have a lot to do it with. I could have put up a house on a lot, sold it, and moved out, but I do want to make that my permanent home and put a 30 by 40 back in the corner. And I did do a property line system, a map, a plot for everything. I think it's well, within its range here. And we questioned the roof line on the garages. Last night, after mowing my lawn, I measured my house roof from ground to the peak of it, 21 feet. It's a Cape Cod 4-bedroom. This garage is going to be 18 to 20 feet high. It had 10.5-12 pitch roof. I brought it down to 6.12. I don't want a scaffold roof to get up there. I want to be able to walk it with shingles and get it up there comfortable. It still looks nice. Any building that you have, the steeper roof you have, the more attractive it is because you see more roof line. It doesn't look like a shed roof. So I did bring it down 6.12. It depends upon the height. I want to put in 3 garage doors, 1 for each vehicle, and have enough room to put other stuff in. The old garage is good for storage. It holds water. I don't know if Amy has pictures, or I have my pictures now I can show you.
The pictures were all scanned and included in your packets. If you need them direct, I can get them directly to you.
Okay, you got the ones with the water in the front driveway. Okay, yeah, that's fine. This last rain, every time I get water dumped in my garage, I got to keep stuff up. To put a vehicle in there, it's too low. I mean, it's an old-fashioned garage. So I'm asking for variance to build a little larger garage than what the city asked for on a completely buildable lot that I joined to my other lot, 65 by 120, and they're both together right now. And I guess I about said it all. The roof line can, fluctuate. My main house, I measured last night, slipped the roller up there, climbed the siding, hooked on the very top of the gutter system up there, and it was 21 feet. This garage, I'm looking around 20 feet, maybe a little less. It won't go more than 20 though, but it'll match the house, detail. If you know much about building, and some of you folks seem that you do.
And we go to the midline of the gable when we measure in zoning for the height. So it's not the actual peak, just to be clear.
Other than that, I want to be in my permanent home. It's a nice double lot, nice neighborhood. Though kids walk to school, and I see buses going around, but they got to walk to a Deal school every morning. I don't know why they can't bus some of those kids. I mean, they're just, I look out the window and I see them walking, it's like, it's a shame. But other than that, back to my situation, I'm asking for a little larger garage than what the city has. And I don't have all final prints done. I do have a copy stuff there, but I didn't go ahead and have Mike Grab draw me up, nothing, stuff like that. I know I got to go through building codes and so forth, which I'm very familiar with.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
So Amy, you're saying it'd be the 16.6 with the plans he's giving us?
Correct.
So you'd only be a foot, you'd be a foot and a half over? Okay. So you're kind of in the same boat as the other guy that just came up here. You're asking for
Well, I can switch the pitch.
more than double. No, I'm not talking about the height. A foot and a half, we can probably deal with that.
Yeah,
it's the size of the building itself. You're double.
Okay, now
what we're
around the
allowed to
neighborhood,
do.
there's a gentleman next door to me. His garage got to be 30 by 60.
Yeah.
Right next to me. Linwood has one. The other street down, they have a couple 3-car garage, as big as mine, if not bigger. But I know times have changed and so forth. I'm going to go from 24 wide to 30 wide, and I have the depth there. From 30 to 40, 3-car garage, 3 doors. I can't squeeze 3 doors in a 30-foot span without not having any support there. So I'm asking for a width of 30 instead of 24, and a length of 40 to 30.
We get that. I'm saying our hands are a little bit tied on what we can do.
Okay.
Like that's the way the zoning code's
Well, my
written.
other garage is useless to me. It's low.
Yeah,
It's going to stay because it's stone. It matches the house. It looks good, but every time it rains, there's water coming through those doors. I don't care how much rubber you put on bottom of that door, it's going to come through. I've witnessed it many times.
So the one drawing that was provided in our packet is an interior elevation view. And you have the stairs X'd out, you're not going to do?
I'm not doing a storage, no, I don't
So
need.
you're not going to do anything upstairs?
No, nothing upstairs, just straight trusses.
Okay.
That was a 10.5, 12 pitch, and I like to get a 6.12 so I can climb it. 10.5, you got scaffold, everything. I've been through this. But no, there's no storage, that's going to go above.
Any other questions from the board? Anybody else here to speak on behalf of the variance? Anybody here to speak on behalf of the variance? Anybody here want to speak on behalf of the variance? Is there anyone here to speak opposing the variance? Anybody here to oppose the variance? Anybody here to oppose the variance? So be it.
Do we want to hear the other one and,
Pardon me?
do we want to hear the other one and then caucus, or do we?
No, let's vote on this and get them out of here. These people have been waiting a long time.
I looked at either put a house on that lot or put a garage structure. It was my choice. I combined it together. I prefer the garage for my own personal use.
What's your feel on this?
I mean, we have to be consistent. So the last guy, we weren't going to be amenable to that. He's got a second lot, so he's got more space and all of that, but it's still, the zoning code's the zoning code. Like we could make an adjustment a little bit, but I don't think we can double it, in my mind. I don't know, what do you guys think?
Amy, can you pull a plot plan up?
Yeah.
Have you had the conversation about perhaps an attached garage?
The one that we drew up, the house, the existing garage, and a future garage.
Are you looking for the survey, or you want the actual plot, that one?
Actually, plot.
Thank you.
With all the measurements, all the side yards, the front yard, the back yard, the driveway size.
Sorry about that, Frank. You just gave me so much documents I gotta get through.
I know it, overload. There it is.
Let's see, let's back that up a little bit. There you go.
Front yard is June Street. Property line came in the old driveway, just right side of the old driveway. Now that whole lot is vacant. I mow it. And I have 60-foot front yard, 20-foot backyard, and I'm coming out 6 feet off of my arborvitae I planted in the fence there. And the rest is vacant. Now, if you take the garage, the old garage, and the house and combine them together, you're very close to that garage size.
That we get that, but that's not how the code is written, right? So we sort of have to follow, not sort of, we do have to follow what the code says, not what makes sense sometimes.
Frank, would it be an issue to put it closer to the house, like where the driveway is?
Still the same size.
Right. If you put it within 6 feet of your home, it's considered attached, and we don't sit here anymore.
Well, it's going to be tough to have vehicles pull in a new garage in. Because the driveway's there, the house is there, the garage is there. I like to keep it back where it's at so I can turn into the new garage and back out into my existing driveway. I don't need a clutter there. I like to have vehicles inside the garage. That's why I'm asking for one a little bigger. We own 3. You move it anywhere else and you're going to be closer, and you got to turn vehicles into a garage in a radius. I'm 6 feet. I can come off the back garage with the 3 feet, because the other lot is I'm so long. I go 6 feet. Give me some mowing area back there. I have shrubs planted back there, the arborvitae, to kind of hide it in that case. 30 by 40. I like to have to fit me well, to park the vehicles in there without slamming each vehicle to the car door. And if you guys have a garage, you know what it's like. As you
Well,
pull
let me
your
ask
car
you
in.
this, Tom. What are you willing to go along with? You don't think the chances of you voting for this the way it is are favorable?
Yeah, I guess we have to be consistent, right? We told the other guy we couldn't do it. So if we're consistent.
Excuse me,
All right.
different
So what-
situation though.
Hold on 1 second. So what are you willing to offer? Anything?
Well, I think Amy's suggestion was actually the best one, but that confuses your driveways a little bit.
That's going to cut that driveway off. I like to keep it open. It goes from Linwood to June Street.
What about a drive-through garage? Right, in and out. I've seen it done before.
What about relocating your driveway to the other side of the
Why don't we,
building if it was attached to your house?
No, I want that.
We're gonna take a 5-minute break.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're gonna take an adjournment.
we're gonna make you one final offer. You wanna go ahead and make a motion?
So, yeah, so I think we have to be consistent, right? And so the other guy, we weren't gonna allow him to go double the size. You're nearly double the size. I think you still have some options. I know you don't wanna consider them, but, you know, in my mind, there's two, basically. You can build two buildings, which you probably don't wanna do. You can adjust the location of it so it's considered attached to the main house. And then the third option is that we deny the variance. So I think that's where we stand. So I'm going to make a motion.
That's where we do stand.
Yeah.
Okay, what size are you offering at this time? You're shutting down a third.
The size is the size.
Okay,
That's
what
laid out in
size
the
are
zone.
you going to offer me to build?
It's 720.
720. 720. That's the maximum that is allowed under the zoning ordinance.
Okay,
You can do two buildings, 720 and 720. That's what the last gentleman was told. And what they're telling you now is that you have the options of doing two buildings, 720 and 720, or making the garage an attached garage. But if you just go forward with it, pretty sure the vote's going to be 4-0 against the variance.
Neither of those two options he just gave you require a variance. You don't even need us for those. Those are allowed by the code.
so you're telling me I can go with two buildings, 720, and have the same amount of yard to mow, instead of having one a little larger. But I can go back to 24 by 30 size? Is it city size? That's a 720.
Yeah, 24 by 30.
So I can do two of those, and they're gonna be bigger than this garage. Doesn't sound right to me.
That's the way it's
It
written.
doesn't really sound right to me,
It's the way it's
folks.
written. We're not allowed to rewrite it. We just have to enforce it.
That's why I'm asking for a hardship. My other garage, you can't.
There is no hardship. The only hardship is self-inflicted.
No, hardship is the water I'm getting from Linwood. Whenever you paved that driveway, neighbors said they picked the elevation up. And the storm sewer is about 50 feet down the road. Water comes right in my driveway every time it rains. I have a hard time even putting my lawnmowers in there.
So with that line of thought, you could build a 720-foot garage where you want the bigger one, and then your hardship is subsided. With that argument, right?
I got 3 vehicles. I need to put 3 cars in this garage. And for me to separate them, it's double electric, double everything.
Okay, well, we've heard enough. You want to, what do you want us to do? Other than grant the variance the way you wrote it, which we're not going to do.
Okay, do I have time to think about it?
You
Come
want to
back
table
to
it?
Amy? I was at table, you guys are good for tabling things today.
So my only argument against tabling it is there's
No,
nothing that
tabling
will
is-
change the
Is
decision.
what road I want to take, a double garage, attach it to my house?
You don't need us for that.
That's what they're
There's
saying.
no variance needed for those two options.
Then I don't need you for 24 by 30 garage either.
Correct.
But I can put 2 of those up.
Correct. And
As
you don't
long
need
as-
us.
Right, as long as you're compliant with the amount of lot size that you're covering, that's something that you're going to want to check, but.
Do I have a lot size here, Amy?
You should be just fine with that, just quickly looking at it. And the size, we've already checked that with the 1,100 square foot proposal.
Okay, in your zoning, how close can garages go?
This goes back to zoning code is 3 feet, building code usually applies at 5 feet for fire rated walls.
Okay. I'm gonna have to think about it. I can't have an answer right now. I'm gonna go home and take a look at it. It's my choice. One or
Fine.
2.
You want to make a motion? Table it?
Sure. I guess I make a motion to table.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor of tabling this appeal?
Aye.
Okay, a motion has carried. We will table. Frank, I will be in contact. You can contact me. Tomorrow would be best, and we can discuss this further.
Okay. I thank you, board members.
Okay, thank you. Next appeal,
Okay, guys, come on up. We'll get you sworn in. I'm going to read while you're walking. We are at appeal number 13322, 1240 Buffalo Road. This appeal is concerning a property located at 1240 Buffalo Road, index 15-2106-125. It's located in an a residential limited business and an R2 medium density residential zoning district. So we've split zoning in this one parcel. It is one parcel lined through the middle, so you can see it on your screen. And the appellant is requesting a variance for a proposed auto repair business. Per section 204.5, auto repair is not a permitted use. Okay, and this is Hussein Al. Thank you. What he said. And the court report, I'll get you guys sworn in, okay? Thank you.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Okay, we'll have one of you speak at a time. Just make sure that you're stating your name and your address, please.
and address.
My name is Oli Afapawi. My address is 2002 Camphausen Avenue, 16510.
Court reporter, I will make sure you get that spelling correct just to be sure. I'll send an email out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My name is Hussein, Hussain Tabhawi, ALTHABHWI. It's the 2002 Camphausen Avenue. But the building is wait.
Yeah, you guys can present your case.
All right, okay.
We're applying for a use variance on the property 1240 Buffalo Road, Erie, PA 16503, to change it from the split zoning into one zone C-2 commercial, general commercial, to put an auto repair garage. And we have a simple site plan on where the proposed garage is going to be if you want to take a look at it.
It's been included in our packet. We do have that.
Yeah.
If you could talk to us a little bit about
Yeah.
the hardship.
The current hardship is half the property has a paved parking lot.
Speak up a little bit.
Yes, sorry. Half the lot has a paved parking lot, preventing a residence building on it. To remove, I'm sorry, it's just numbers.
Okay,
So the hardship is half the lot is covered in a paved lot, so it's going to be hard to, without a lot of work and a costly amount of money, to remove all the paved lot to put a residence in there. So we thought, since at an auto repair garage, we wanted to have a parking lot, we can use the existing parking lot there and just build the garage and not next to the parking lot. And I have pictures of the paved parking lot and the property if you want to see them.
So are you saying that your hardship is a financial hardship?
It's more of it's going to be a lot of work to remove the paved parking lot.
No, we try to make a garage like we have already a garage.
Wait.
We rent it, but we try to move to the own business. We have it on the 9024 of Brown Avenue, the garage, and we don't have no parking lot down there. No, and city always give me a hard time about the car be parking, and we try to build the garage down in this area.
So it's a financial hardship, is that what you're saying? You need, money is the problem?
No, we have the money. We try to build the garage.
Yeah, so our only hardship is just the paved lot, so there is no hardship really.
There is no hardship?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, and that's the difficulty with your
Yeah.
request, right? Like if we look back through our information, you were before this board in 2018 with a very similar request. It looks like Monica Ray was your real estate.
I mean, she's come to help me to talk about that, but I don't have idea about like what exactly the zoning is and stuff, but.
Sure, so if we look at the historical record, Monica Ray came in front of this board with a very similar request on your behalf in 2018, and the board denied that request.
Yeah.
Based on a similar presentation today, it would be difficult for us to change our mind with no additional information. I mean, if you're having difficulty articulating a hardship, that's a requirement for us to consider granting a use variance. We're not able to spot change zoning. I mean, I think in your request it said we would like it to be C2 commercial. That's not what we do, right? We would look at your presentation today based upon the fact in the zoning ordinance and make a determination that we're willing to allow you to use that property in a different way than what's articulated in the zoning code. We would not be rezoning it as a commercial. We would be allowing a commercial use there, but the zoning would remain. The difficulty is, if you're saying there's no hardship, there's really nothing for us to consider.
Women hardship. I don't understand the hardship. Women hardship.
What's stopping
The hardship is for you to convince us that the property can't be developed in conformance with the zoning ordinance. So we would want you to say things like, well, it can't be a residential use, or it can't be the laundry list of allowable uses in the zoning ordinance because of this reason. That your use that you're asking us for would be the only one that could be utilized there.
I sent you guys an email that had all that hardship criteria on it. Those are the kinds of things that they're looking for, right in that email. There's 5 bullet points.
So we can like build a garage there, like a.
And again, if we were able to say yes or no because we thought this was a good idea, that would be different, right? What do we want to do here?
Doesn't look very good, does it? You have anybody else to speak on behalf of the variance? Is there anyone else to speak on behalf of the variance? Anyone else to speak on behalf of the variance? Anybody that's here to oppose the variance? Anybody that's here to oppose the variance? Anybody here that wants to speak opposing the variance? Not heard?
I have one more question. What is it about this specific property? I mean, there are obviously other properties in areas of the city that probably could be more amenable to what you want to do. You keep coming back to this very specific property.
Because we purchased, we bought it.
We like the property because it already had a built-in paved parking lot.
Okay.
There used to be a business there, orphanage, and most of our clients at our current garage are from that area over here on Buffalo Road. So we thought, why just build a bigger, better, more secure garage that has a fenced-in perimeter to secure our customers' cars and just make our business better.
I understand. Thank you.
Call for a vote?
And so I think, so just so we're clear, I think what the board wants you to understand is that in order to qualify for the type of variance that you're asking, it can't just be that you bought the property and you're going to lose out on money. You have to meet the qualifications that are listed under there. So I don't know if you read what the variance is that you were asking for, what the standard is that you have to meet, but finances can't be one of those. So we have to follow what's listed under the variance that's listed, unfortunately.
I just assumed that since half the lot was a paved parking lot, it couldn't be a house going to be put on top. Just assumed that could be used as a hardship.
Okay, when I was in the garage, there was a beer distributor when I was right now. And the zoning come in, they say, how is this garage built here? And they come in, the owner and you guys make a garage. And between the residents, there's no parking lot, nothing. That's why I'm assuming you give the zoning to the garage where I'm working right now. That's why I'm thinking. Because with 924, it was like a beer distributor. And I rent from the owner, and the owner, he don't know was You know what I mean? And he come into the zoning and you guys like he prove him, like a garage. And he was,
So I think what you're discussing is a change of use, which would not come in front of this board. We only deal with variance requests, so either
okay,
dimensional
like,
or
I
use
wanna
variance.
try to make it like a garage, like, I don't know, we try to build a garage. I mean, where I'm staying right now, like, I want to try to move my business to this area. I want to try to build a garage here. This is what I try to do.
Right, and that would be an Amy question, because putting a building on a paved lot does not give you permission to use it. You're asking for a different type of, you're asking for a variance, not a use. So Amy, can you answer his question about, he's thinking that just because they put a building on the lot that gave them the permission to use it. Can you explain?
Understanding
They
what's
paved
going
a
on.
lot that was, because it was vacant.
Just paved, right? Are we
Yes, and
talking
now
about
it's
the place on
paved and they're
on
putting a
Buffalo
building
Road that's
on it,
down the
yes.
road some? Is that the one you're talking about? That has paving, was a building, and it's changed into a garage?
The one, no, different one. The one where I'm right now, 924.
Where you're at now?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't answer
Okay.
anything I'm not
All right, okay.
familiar with. Well, I understand this property, so yes, that's in the record that this was a daycare. This has been burnt down.
Burnt down, and they're putting a building on it that now they can get the zoning. But it's
Oh.
that does not mean you can.
Misunderstood. Okay, I thank you, everyone, for clarifying that a little bit. There's a pavement, that's what you're saying, you can put a building on there, right? That's what you want to do?
Yeah, but pavement from the previous building.
Okay, so that, anything that is existing on the property is going to be there until you change it. So in our RLB and R2 zoning districts, the districts that you're in, there's permitted uses. Multifamily, might be daycare, might be small offices, whatever that use is, auto repair is not one of them. That's what you're asking them to approve, okay? But you need to find the reasons why. Why do I need this business here? And that's what you have to present to them. Okay, what are the reasons, other than what is existing? You can put a building on anything, if it was paved, but what they're looking for is more of a, why do you want an auto repair business in this location specifically? Not on the land, forget about the land, just why does this business need to be here? Those are what they're looking for, the hardships of.
Okay, we'll call for a vote.
Okay, do you have
Roll call.
a motion?
We're going to vote to deny the variance.
Okay, so a motion to deny is on the table. Do I have by Jeff?
Yeah.
And a second? Tom? All approved to deny this variance? Or all in favor, I'm sorry.
Aye.
Aye. Selena, Jeff, ayes?
Aye.
Okay, guys, the motion has been denied at this point.
Like, you don't want to make a garage here?
You can, it depends on what you're gonna use it for. You can build,
Like, auto, I have my own business right now. I want to just move it, build a garage here. This one.
they did not approve you.
Yeah.
Okay? Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you.